All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about something I think we've all felt, but maybe never really put a name to. It's that quiet, kind of awkward guilt we sometimes feel around money, even when it's just a few cents. And we're going to uncover the hidden power in those tiny moments.
So let me just ask you straight up. Does that phrase, money guilt, ring a bell? I mean, have you ever been in a situation where you knew you should speak up about a small amount of money, but you just didn't to avoid the hassle? Yeah, you are definitely not alone in this.
So let's really define what we're talking about here. Money guilt is that weird, sinking feeling you get for just wanting to stand up for yourself financially. It's the voice in your head that tells you to say, "Oh, don't worry about it," when really you do worry about it. And it almost always ends with you sacrificing what's yours just to avoid feeling uncomfortable for a second.
Now, to really get this, let's move beyond the definition and into the real world. I'm going to walk you through a couple of stories that just perfectly capture where this feeling likes to pop up and ambush us.
Okay, so this first story, it starts out so simple, so relatable. It's about getting into the habit of paying for little things. Like a colleague's tea when you're out on a break. It just seems easier to say, "I got this," than to split a tiny bill. But a funny thing happened. The gesture was never, ever returned. It just became expected.
And when the subject was finally gently brought up with this colleague, this was the response. Can you believe it? It was a total shock. The generosity wasn't seen as kindness at all. It was twisted into some kind of obligation, all based on a total assumption about personal finances. What a painful lesson, right?
All right, story number 2. This one happens at a currency exchange counter. You know the drill, you're swapping money for a trip, and you realize, wait a second, the cashier shorted you, just by a few cents. It's that classic moment where every fiber of your being is screaming, just let it go, it's not worth it.
And when the missing change was asked for, the cashier's glare said it all. The social pressure was just intense. You could practically feel the eyes of everyone else in line judging you. The old you would have probably just backed down, right? But this time was different.
And this right here is the absolute heart of it all. These two stories, which seem so minor on the surface, were actually massive turning points. They show us exactly why these small, awkward, uncomfortable little moments are the ones that matter the most.
So here's the big reveal, the main takeaway. Every single time we let one of these small things slide, we're doing more than just losing a few cents or a couple of dollars. We're actually weakening ourselves. We're training ourselves to be quiet, which makes it so much harder to find our voice when the stakes are way, way higher.
I absolutely love this analogy. Think of your confidence as a muscle. Every action you take either strengthens it or lets it get weaker. It really is that simple. So each time you stand up for yourself, no matter how small it seems, you're basically doing a rep at the gym for your confidence. Standing firm for those few cents, that's a serious workout for your self-worth.
Okay, so we've covered the whole psychological side of it. But what about the cold, hard cash? Let's switch gears and look at the actual numbers here, because you are going to be amazed by the compounding power of what we usually just dismiss as pennies.
Let's just pick a number out of thin air, 50 cents. An amount so small, most of us wouldn't even bend over to pick it up if we saw it on the sidewalk. It feels like absolutely nothing, right? Totally insignificant.
But hold on, what happens if you took that insignificant 50 cents and just saved it every single day for only 2 years? Boom, it turns into $360 all of a sudden. That's not so insignificant anymore, is it? That's real money.
And this is where it gets really mind-blowing. What if you don't just let that $360 sit there? What if you invest it, maybe in a simple, low-cost stock that does pretty well over time? Well, that little pile of 50-cent pieces could grow into over $2,600. It's just incredible. That's the magic of compounding in action. And hey, even if you don't invest it, that $360 is still powerful. That's the fancy coffee machine you've been eyeing. That's a one-on-one coaching session that could change your career. A lunch with a potential partner, a ticket to an event. It represents opportunity, and that's what we give away every time we say, it's not worth the trouble.
So you see, this is way bigger than just saving a few cents here and there. This is about completely overhauling your mindset. It's about building a brand new, a healthier, and frankly, a much more powerful relationship with your money and with yourself.
Let's just put this transformation side by side. The old mindset, the one we're trying to leave behind, says stuff like, it's not worth the trouble, or I feel so guilty asking for it. But the new, empowered mindset, it completely reframes it.
Now it's every cent is a seed for my future. And this action right here is strengthening my confidence. See the difference? It changes everything.
So how do we make that shift? Here are two really powerful ways to think about it. First, start seeing your money as a seed. Don't just toss your seeds away. Plant them wisely so they can grow into a whole garden. And second, think of your money like a partner. You should know everything about it. Where's it coming from? Where's it going? And most importantly, is it coming back with babies? Is it growing?
And really, it all comes down to this. This is the big idea that ties it all together. Confidence and money. They have so much in common. Neither of them just magically appears overnight. You build both of them, brick by brick, cent by cent, one small, deliberate step at a time.
So, I'm going to leave you with this question. Forget about winning the lottery or landing the huge promotion for a minute. What small thing, what tiny, so-called insignificant moment are you going to stand up for today? Because that, right there, that's where the real power begins.